Oh, don't look at this.
Okay, yeah, no. I can't look at it.
Oh my God.
Everybody's been like, don't look at my notes.
No, literally.
I'm not looking at your notes. I was like, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, respectfully, I'm glancing at your notes. No, just kidding. Let's kick this thing off about friendship.
Stop.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, hello.
Katrina, this is really like, actually, I had no doubts. I had no doubts about who was going to do the friendship episode, because every time I think of a friend, of the definition of a good friend, I'm like, Katrina, like,
Stop.
Katrina literally couldn't make it to my birthday party and sent me a box, a themed box.
Oh my God, I was kicking myself so hard when I couldn't come. I was like, I have to go all out. And I literally dragged my mom to Michael's with me. She said, okay, what's the theme? I said, period.
Oh, so. That was just so beautiful. Like, I'm sitting here like,
R.I.P. perfume.
Right, I know. Oh, that really... I know it was an accident, but when that perfume broke,
yeah,
my heart broke a little bit. Right, so did my soul. Started cracking a little bit, and that hallway smelled so 2000s for about a week straight.
What's really funny? Okay, first to address what you said in the beginning. First of all, I'm extremely flattered. I love that you consider me a good friend because you're the best of them all. Second, it's funny because that perfume just came in handy because my sister and I had an era. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like it was mostly hers. So my sister's 2.5 years older than me, very, early 2000s vibes, upbringing, and she was obsessed with, like, Disney Channel, as was I, and was obsessed with, I don't even remember what fragrance, like, what show it was from, but I have a feeling it was Hannah Montana S, something like that, because she was obsessed with Hannah Montana, and I hadn't smelled it in forever, because she literally just had it sitting there forever, and somehow, when I decided to gift it to you, it felt like the most... like rich thing I could give you, because it was so rich of like so many years just sitting there being preserved, you know what I mean? Like it was such a like it had never been touched. It was honestly like a time capsule.
Yeah, it was making me sadder.
No, don't get sad because I'm following up with it was no cost to me to gift it to you, because it was literally sitting there my whole life. I did not pay for that perfume, child. So I was just like, I didn't even ask her, honestly. She hasn't noticed. It's fine.
That sounds like something I would do. Be like, this hasn't been used in a decade.
No, but honestly, that was like the best regifting I've ever done. But I will say, I'm kind of jealous just because I wish that when it broke, I was there to smell it. Because I didn't even really know what it smelled like. You're saying 2000s, but like, what does that mean?
Like, you know those like to me sometimes I just think of those little body sprays that girls used to spray on in dance class, like when we would start sweating. So in my mind sometimes it smells
like sweat.
It smells like musk, like not like dirty sweat, but like, you know how it's just like
musk.
Yeah, it smells kind of like pheromones in a kind of way, but like packed on with like sweetness, like candy,
like Bath and Body Works, like which one of those is
strawberry shortcake sweet pea, right?
Yeah, the
pink peony, like.
Some of those fragrances have been sold at that store for like 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, I used to douse myself in sweet pea. That was like the thing.
Sweet pea. I think my sister likes sweet pea. I was always a Japanese cherry blossom girl. I felt very elevated. I felt very 20.
I love Japanese cherry blossom. That's a good one.
14.
Yeah, sweet pea reminds me of like age 12. Like when I think of sweet pea.
Age 12. Yeah. That's actually really accurate.
Yeah.
It is age 12. It's not even 13.
Yeah, 12 is like that pivotal age where it's just like, I'm going to be a teenager.
No, literally, you're on the cusp of becoming. You know what I mean?
Right. It's just like, well, here I go.
Here I go's crazy. Yeah.
My question for you though, that I just feel like this is so funny.
Oh my God.
And I feel like because I'll tell you the context before I ask you this question.
Okay.
One time when I was in high school, I was at a sleepover with some of my friends.
Okay.
And we were just sitting there like all lovey-dovey, like, oh, you guys are so great. Like, oh, we're friends and we're cool. Little clique having a sleepover.
Yes.
And then we just sat there and we were like, guys, we need to be serious for a second. And we were like in a circle, and I'm just sitting here right? I was just like, what's going on? We were sitting here like, what's something that each of us has done that has actually annoyed each other? We were sitting there like,
oh my God,
do I do that annoys you? I really want to know, because it can't be all love. It can't, like, we were just like going, I was just like, where did
go at each other?
Right, I said, where did this come from? I thought we were just hugging and kissing.
This is not the context for this. I feel like where that came from was somebody was feeling salty, and somebody just wanted everybody to. It was an excuse for them to get some salt out. That's
I feel like that could have been it. But I was sitting there like, what? I was scared to hear mine, and then when it got to me, I was sitting here like, oh Lord. And my friend was just like, you know, sometimes when you're telling a story, you just like give so much like context, and I'm just like, well, what happened? Damn. Like, I'm just like, oh.
My sister at me. She's like, get to the story.
Right. She's like, they were like, get to the fucking point. And I was just like, oh.
That's
well, you could get the whole picture a little better if you knew what happened beforehand.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I definitely be given every detail.
Yeah, I'm like, sometimes, I'm like, and if you were a real friend, you would be interested. How about that?
Exactly.
And that's on tape.
Tune in.
You would be interested in what I was.
Oh, can I break the floor?
Yes, look at the viewers sometimes if you want to.
Hello. Okay, this is for the people who have access to the video. I have red twists right now. I don't know if it'll be forever. I'm in my red hair era.
And it looks so good.
I did them myself. Okay, next.
And I love how you match the eyebrows, because it just works. Like, and the blush. It's just like a really cute. It all comes together.
And it's fall, so it's just like, it's really giving, I don't know, autumnal.
Right. It's, for it to be fall, it really be feeling like the dead of winter here.
It's very cold.
I love when people just stick to the fall, like stick to the script, stick to the fall theme. Like, it's still fall. Mm-hmm. It's still fall. Hello.
Let me see some layers.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm starting to think I want to dye my hair, but we'll see.
Wait, because you know that we both know you eat a burgundy up. You would eat that. Dude, there's a few colors that you could really just devour.
I think so. Wait, what's another one, do you think? I'm trying to decide between...
Let me find out.
I'm sitting here like...
Hold on. I just thought of something really crazy.
What?
I'm thinking like a no, not forest, but like a vibrant, dark, like plantish, almost green. Like, you see that vine? Like a dark green? Actually, like this. The way that would look on your skin tone, shape your face, if you use any other colors too for blush or anything, that could look nice.
Oh, what about an orange blush with that?
Wow.
That could kind of hit.
Come on, color theory.
Right, I'm sitting here like, I might have to think about that one. Like, I might have to experiment on that one.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, my question though is,
you trying to ask me how you pissed me off? Is that
basically my specific question was, have I ever given you the ick? Like, if you can recall, I was thinking about it on the flip side. I'm like, I can't recall any time Katrina has ever given me the ick, but
oh my God,
I know that, you know, sometimes it happens with friends, and I think it's kind of funny. But I thought that situation in high school was funny, and it might be fun to do that as the icebreaker question.
That is so funny. The really crazy thing is, I feel like I have to prove myself right now, because I feel like if I don't have an ick, like, people are going to be like, y'all ain't close for real. But here's my thing. I'm actually struggling.
I was struggling trying to think about it for you. I'm like...
Genuinely. Wait.
But it's an interesting question.
You like sauces.
I like sauces.
You like sauces, and you like sandwiches.
You don't like sandwiches?
I love sandwiches and sauces, but I just want to confirm first.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay. I'm just going to guess something that could, in theory, give me that. I don't think it ever has. Mm-hmm. But as someone who also eats a lot of sauces on my sandwiches, I feel like there's probably been a time where you were chewing. And I'm a very squeamish person. And I just feel like you probably got sauce on the outside of your mouth once.
Yeah, I probably
You know
did.
what I mean?
I feel like,
did. Because you know...
I was about to say, I know I did. Sometimes I be feeling sauce on the outside of my mouth.
Because I feel like sometimes when we're together, we get food, like, I don't know why it feels like we push it, but we just be mad hungry.
Yes.
So then, like, going in, so I feel like now I can confirm that there probably has been a time where there was a little sauce, but I can't say that I wasn't on the same wave, so I was not icked out, but someone would be.
No, I love that. I actually love that because it's so funny, and it reminds me of, like, when people, like, chew with their mouth open and, like, keep their mouth open. It's like,
Wait, people really do be on that. And it's like, social cues.
Right, social cues.
It's like you see me looking at your mouth scared. And you just kept it open.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah, to me it feels like a violation. But
yeah, it's a little invasive.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Now in my head I'm thinking about pet peeves. Like in college there was this freshman year.
Ooh.
The whole roommate was a pet peeve, but some of the things that she would do, like she had these slippers. Ooh, I hope she sees this.
Oh my gosh.
She had these slippers and she would drag her feet all the time. And then I saw when my grandma was on us about that, dragging our feet. Because I was like, that is probably the most annoying
dragging
sound.
Dragging feet really is a lot to bear.
The bottom of those slippers sounded like sandpaper on the floor.
Oh, yeah, and they will. They definitely do sound like that when they drag. I'm not a fan either.
Yeah, that's...
I'm thinking of pet peeves. I'm trying not to be mean, but, short people. I just walk really fast.
Because you walk fast.
I think it depends on... I just say it like that. I think it also just like I live in New York, so it's like I always got somewhere to be. I also am a makeup girl, so I'm always running a little bit late. So I be rushing, and it's like, why are you? If you knew that you were just gonna saunter, like I feel like just like okay, you know how when you are on an escalator and it's like stand on the right and let the niggas walk up on the left.
Yes.
It's like just get to the side of the sidewalk. Is that how it feels to me? It's like, it's a busy street. I'm talking about not even just like a neighborhood in Brooklyn. I'm talking about you're in Midtown. Get the fuck out the way. I'm sorry that you're the hustle. I'm just like, get out the way. But also I'd be like, oh, like that's fucked up. Like you don't know what people are going through. Like invisible shit is real.
But I feel like on the streets of New York too, I just want to like push people in the back. Like I just want because people move so slow. I accidentally hit somebody with my lighting kit bag earlier, but it felt a little purposeful. Like it felt a little purposeful. I think my like opinion of like short people specifically changed when I was taking dance class.
Yeah.
Because I think people had expectations of me because I was tall and like you should be able to move at this speed and you should be able to move at this speed. And there was one girl who was like a lot shorter than everybody.
Yeah.
And the way she moved was just like so unexpected for what I thought like of short people. And I was just like,
she changed your whole perspective.
She literally did. Her alone, and she was one of my really good friends. Her alone, I was just like, and in a funny way too, because one time we were going across the floor, and my teacher was just like, "Why are you walking around like you weigh 300 pounds? Like,
gosh, she said move fast."
In a way where it was just like, it's like weight distribution, like when you're moving and when you're walking and stuff like that. Or like, I seen short people who in dance who are really, really agile and like quick, like a fox. Like I'm just like, so it's just like.
Well, here's my thing. I would never assume a tall person would be agile.
Yeah, no.
We are crazy.
I was just like me trying to do a backflip.
It'd be giving sloth. Because it's like, I feel like when you're walking, okay, some tall people aren't fast walkers, and that they should be called out for. But I think that like I can expect that of you because your limbs are literally long. So it's like if you don't walk fast, you just haven't learned to take a larger stride. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
But in like terms of moving our bodies, like I feel like we'd be awkward and slow. I think that I expect shorter people to be more agile actually. Yeah. And more like nimble.
Right.
So I love that for you. I love that your friend opened you up to how oppressive you were. You said not all people.
Right. Not it depends. Like everybody, it's always a case by case basis. But that did change. That changed my life.
Wow.
Better, obviously. But yes. Let's get into this podcast episode. Love talking to you about everything. This is going to be so beautiful.
I'm really having a good time.
Yeah, this is great. So, officially, welcome to the pod. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to 23, 24, 25. This is a podcast about being slapped in the face by not only 2023, but also by the wildly complicated transition for me that is turning 25. I'm your host, Josca, and I've invited my friends to the table to talk about all things life as baby adults. Today,
we really are baby adults.
Right. Thank you. You understand. Like 20-year-old teenagers.
No, quite literally.
Yes, so today I'm here with Katrina, my really good friend from school, from college, and like we've had some really good like experiences together and like connections and how we really just like solidified this little thing called friendship.
This little thing. And I think that at some point too, like it was a choice too because the end of my college was disrupted with the pandemic, and I'm just happy that by then, we'll get into this, I'm sure, but I'm happy that by then I had learned skills to be better at communicating and keeping in touch with people who are not just right in front of you, and like making active decisions to have long-term and long-distance friends.
Right. It's got to be intentional at some point.
It does have to be intentional.
Yeah.
That's what I did learn.
And I, witness people getting stressed out with that part of it. And my thing was always, there's nothing to blame, and it's okay. Because this is like a learning experience. Like a big shift getting out of school, and you're not in school anymore, and you've been in school all your life. Like, that's a big shift.
It is. I found creating my own schedule and routine actually quite suffocating and difficult. Mm-hmm. So I completely agree. It is a shift. I feel like I'm just now settling, if I'm being for real.
Yeah.
Like, probably settled this past summer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes I feel very unsettled still.
Yeah.
And, I'm like being a little risk taker around here, like not trying to. I need to stop saying
come on.
My friend said, stop saying trying. You're doing it.
Literally.
But starting my own production company, doing a podcast.
Lockjaw.
Right. Lockjaw Productions.
Come on, Lockjaw.
So we're in it. We're in it good.
We're in it.
And we're going to start off this podcast episode with an activity called MySpace Top 5.
I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm excited too. And this is really just to get the viewers and the listeners to know you better.
Yeah.
And you
could know me.
Hey. So you can give us a list of 5 things that have influenced your growth or have really contributed to your personal likes and just things that you really leaned on in the past or in the present. So they can be fictional characters, books, real people, things, concepts even we've seen. So that's been cool.
Wow.
So what do you have for
really
us?
Excited to listen to other episodes.
Yeah, you're gonna love them.
Okay, I just want to say, these aren't in any particular order. There are a few that are exactly where they need to be, and there are others that shouldn't be where they are. So basically, take what I say and just take it. So number 1, feels right, even though, like I said, there's no particular order. Mm-hmm. I'm indecisive. You want to get to know me. That's one thing. Anyways, I had to put Miss Katara.
Oh, from Atla.
Why did that sound like Adler with a British accent?
It did.
Oh my god, do you know what's also annoying about me? My first, I'm not gonna trouble you to sit through it, but for the first 2 people, I'm gonna explain them like this, actually, yeah. So... Wait,
pause. I'm so sorry. Do you know that your voice recordings from voice class are still on my phone?
What?
From 2019, I found them literally 2 weeks ago.
Wait, what?
I think I let you use my...
Why was that on your phone?
I think I let you use my phone in Charlie's class to record your accent things and then sent it to you, but I didn't ever delete it off my phone.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Wait, we have to listen to that.
You were like,
Wait, what accents were we doing?
You were like, my feet are stuck to the fucking floor.
Yeah, they were. No. Oh my god, that's insane.
I was just like, this is Katrina.
Oh my god, because I'm sure for a second you were like, I'm trying to understand who this is and what they're... That is hilarious. What the fuck?
I love it. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
All right, and I will. Number 1 is Katara. I decided against it. But I just love her a lot. And I think that, I don't even really know if there are words to explain how much I love Avatar: The Last Airbender as a series, as a graphic novel before that, as a concept. The writing has been so just inspiring to me as I write my own things and keep them to myself for now.
That's so good.
But I genuinely deeply admire that show and all of the characters, so that was difficult. I know a lot of people love Katara, but let me tell you what I do. Mm-hmm. First of all, that K name, that used to really make me feel seen. Second of all, I loved how she always ate up her brother. I love Sokka, we come to love Sokka. Season 1, he was on some shit, and I didn't like that. And I feel like I liked how she was always, from the very beginning, as a literal 14-year-old, outspoken as hell. I really relate to that. I feel like there would be times, where I would have really strong opinions about things, in my family, I'd speak up about things, and the thing I always heard was, Bina, people call me Bina, Bina, you're 14, Bina, you're 15, and it would kind of, immediately be just kind of, next. But...
Respect children.
They're a press class.
Right.
For real. But I really did fuck with how outspoken she was. I loved how she stood in her beliefs, really, though. I feel like I always have felt... Whenever I feel like there's something I believe that is, not a choice and it's just like the only morally correct choice. Some things are not debatable, in my opinion. And if you think they are, we're probably not friends. So there's that. But like, her being like, I will never turn my back on people who need me. I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that was kind of some of the first times where I really was seeing that, and like the actions that took place after that, and her bravery. So I love Katara. So she's just number one. Also, she's so pretty. I used to just be like, oh my god, I love her, and she was like brown.
Yes, I was thinking that. Like, she was just an all around inspiration.
Yeah, I love her. Next is Samantha, my sister. I actually put Mantha on my list because that is her nickname in my family. But honestly, there's actually, like I said, there's no words for Avatar, but like, my sister is that girl. She is my cherished, just like friend for life. Like, that corny ass, like, sisters by chance, friends by choice.
Oh, my sister said that earlier.
Today?
Yes, today.
Not right now.
Sisters by chance, friends by choice.
No, but honestly, when it's like real, and I know that you also feel this way, like, it just is so comforting. It's really just such a deep love that is really just untouchable.
Yeah.
I love her. She's loved me throughout everything. We've gone through everything together, including losing another sister, and just like, she's really just like live-in best friend. So love her. Also, she's always inspired me. She's like one of the most aspirational people I know, and has achieved just so much. As of right now, she's okay with this, by the way, but I'm gonna be an aunt soon too, so it's just like,
oh, you can announce it.
I know. She said that it's gonna be a girl too. So I'm just like,
what?
I'm losing my shit, bro. I'm like so excited.
A girl.
So I'm just overjoyed. So Samantha. Okay. Next, the entire original cast of High School Musical. Wow.
Okay.
Your face has me so shook.
Because right when you said that, I'm like, suddenly I want to watch it. I'm like, maybe when I get home later, it's giving it a play.
Might be a rewatch type of night. No, I have this thing where like I can't watch one without the others. If I'm gonna watch them, I have to watch all of them. But honestly, it's quite simple. I love High School Musical. I love.
Is the first one your favorite?
No. But the first one is, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it's definitely like very foundational, needed. And it does set, you know what? Because I do like that the first one, they thought they weren't going to be shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, every time I hear it in the past, they're like, oh, we just thought it was good. First of all, it's called High School Musical, unoriginal. And I feel like they didn't put a lot of effort because they're like, oh, they just some decom. And then it popped off. There's something about the first one that does make me feel warm and tingly because, like, the others are, like, highly produced and, like, the budget's up. And, like, specifically the third one.
Right, they proved their success rate. And so they got more. They were awarded more.
I liked it when they were unsure of themselves. But
when the little bitches were in their place.
No, for sure. Oh, yeah. Especially Lil Sharpay, you know. But I think probably my favorite's the second one. But, I feel like those came out when I was like 6 to 8, foundational years. There's not much more to say. I'm a huge music person. I love singing. I love music.
You sound great.
Instruments. Thank you. Played instruments for years. And like, I just think that the soundtrack feels like the soundtrack of my childhood. And I just have a lot of great memories watching them with my sister, with my friends, learning the sing-alongs, the dance breaks, everything about it. It just feels like I almost cry at the end of every time I rewatch all 3 of them at the end when they graduate. Like, I love it. So, entire cast of HSM. Next is none other than Brandy.
Brandy. Norwood?
As in Norwood.
Ooh.
I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me too. Explain. You watch Moesha?
Of course. But like, honestly, I watched Moesha kind of late. Okay. Nobody at me.
I mean.
Nobody at me. I watched it late. I started my love for Brandy like back when I was like baby years because I grew up, I think, like hearing just her voice and her music spill out of my older sister's room. My older sister Candace was 10 years older than me. If you just try to picture yourself as 5 And, like, your older sister's 15, cool, has a tongue ring. Like,
she had a tongue ring?
She was so fucking lit. Because she was trying to hide that shit for months. My mom said, you're not slick. And then, there's a whole other story. We're not going to get into it, but, like, I remember one time I stapled my tongue because I wanted to be like her. And I took it out and a chunk of my tongue came with it. That's fine. It grew back.
Did that hurt to staple your tongue?
No. I didn't staple it with the staple gun. Okay. I was just playing with a staple in my mouth because I was like, I'm candid. And then I like got stuck, and that was crazy.
But that's so cute.
My mom didn't think so. But
I bet.
Yeah, I think that like just old school R&B growing up, and she's not the only. Honestly, she's a little bit more new age in terms of old school R&B. But I just remember so many fond memories of hearing it growing up. My mom also loved her, and she was also my sister's favorite celebrity, which, like, someone I looked up to so much, because she was just epitome of cool older sister, and she was, like, not mean. I feel like in shows they depict, like, the cool older sister, like, don't talk to me. My sister was, like, obsessed with me. So it was just, like, she was so cool. So the fact that she was obsessed with Brandy, I was like, Brandy, oh my god. And, yeah, and I think that in a lot of ways, also, like, they look alike, which was really comforting after she passed, to just like be like, oh, she loved you. And also Brandy Cinderella, iconic, Whitney Houston. I mean, come on. I'm just a little black girl at the end of the day. Like, what do you want me to do? Not stand? So love Brandy. Sitting up in my room all the time. Okay, lastly, I'm gonna have to go for Carol Newman.
Oh, yay!
It's she's so funny. Like, I feel like if anything, I just had to give her this space because so much of who I am is that lovely Renaissance woman, but like so caring, like the most caring person I know, but also like absolutely insane, like batshit crazy. Like in terms of her comedy and her sense of humor, and also just like how outspoken she is, and also like. I just feel like there's not a good way for me to put my mom into words. But so if this helps at all, growing up, like, she's the type of mom that all my friends would be, oh my god, mom. Like, everyone called her mom. And she's like that, like, teen mom, girl group mom. But also everyone would be like mom in terms of, like, you will get reprimanded. Which is like, you know, like, you have mixed feelings about your primary caretaker. But she was, like, the best mom I could probably think of. I would definitely... if I do become one, aspire to be just like her. I mean, thoughtful. Like, I wouldn't be the person I am without her dedication to teaching me. She's such a precise person. I think the thing that I got most from her is just that, like, I'm a very specific person. Anything I do, and this is sometimes annoying to me, but I think, like, I can't detach it, is that I do my best at everything I do, which can be to my detriment, because that's perfectionism. And it can be bad. But every time I do something and I really put my mind to it, I'm always like genuinely amazed at how much I ate that. And that's Carol Newman. Yeah. Also, she just like, if you heard her laugh, like, she's just so crazy. So that's Mother for sure. Love her. And a lot of people just be like, Carol Newman. What an iconic name. So yeah, I think that's my top 5.
That's perfect. That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
The variety of that top 5, the nostalgia of that top 5.
It was difficult. Like, entire cast of HSM almost got swapped by Cheetah Girls 2, but ooh. And I know that sounds crazy that I even like.
What was the defining like point for that?
I feel like I just really honor and like. I feel like I had to respect a good franchise. Because, like, I don't be watching One World. You know what I mean? I don't watch Cheetah Girls 3.
Yeah. But
even still, like, Cheetah Girls 2, like, stands alone. Like, it stands up. And those songs are some of the best songs that... And not even just, like, in my opinion. It's also just objective that they literally were topping the charts of the time. Like, it's,
true. Yeah.
It's a great album.
Everybody agreed.
No, like, they're iconic. But at the end of the day, I'm just like... I had to choose the thing that I cry over every time I watch it.
Yeah. I've been inspired to go back and give it a rewatch.
Oh, yeah. I also just rewatched them.
Oh, you did? Yeah. It's been a minute. I love that. I'm just like, as much as I love just... I could sit here and talk all day, like getting to know more about my friends or getting to be reminded about just what you love and what you connect to so strongly.
Yeah.
And that's just beautiful.
Wow. It is, honestly. I feel like, wow, we've never really talked about, like, favorite. We touch on shows that we like.
Yeah, we touch on shows that we like, but, like, I just feel like this is a little bit deeper, and it's intentional. Yeah. So it's like, you are making a point to be like, okay, this is what really sticks with me, what influenced me, impacted me, so I like that.
Me too. I want to hear yours.
Yeah, you will, but not right now.
Whatever.
We're going to get into the questions.
OMG, stop.
So my first question, because, you know, I have so much in my brain, I'm like, I've been reading these questions, not going to lie.
Oh my God.
Because I don't want to miss anything, right?
That's a good trait.
Okay, so back to friendship, which is just so potent in our conversation even so far. When you notice a friend could benefit from some advice or support, how do you approach introducing the topic to them in a way that is considerate and helpful without coming across as intrusive or judgmental, which is a thing that happens sometimes? Can you share an example of a situation where you successfully offer guidance to a friend?
Yeah. I feel like that had a few questions.
Yeah.
I feel like something that I've always been like this, but also there's just something about acting school that does open up all of your, not all of your, but it can really help with vulnerability. And I think that that's just something about myself that I cherish, is that I can really kind of just deep dive. I try not to, like, I always see if someone can take it before I'm just like, but if somebody asks me how I am, I'll be like, dead ass.
Right, yeah.
I'm about to cry. Right here. But, yeah, I think that if there's something that I want to address a friend about, it's typically something that I've picked up on because I'm just, like, observing, like, how they're doing, or they've talked about something and maybe they're not putting dots together, or like, whatever that is. And I feel like I always approach it as a question, because at the end of the day, I only know part of the story.
Right.
Like, I pride myself on being observant and, like, being intentional about knowing my friends and knowing what's going on, but also, like, I see you. You know what I mean? We see each other in the fractions of our lives. You are the protagonist of your own life. So at the end of the day, I'm always going to want to know, like, your perspective in your own life. And so, like, I feel like I'll address it like, hey, by the way, how have you been? I'll just, like, lead with a, like, genuine how have you been, to see if something comes out organically that I've been thinking about. But also, if I have a specific thing I'm concerned about, I might just be like, I feel like I noticed this. Like, you don't have to, you know, let me know if you feel comfortable, but if you want to talk about anything going on there, like, I'm here, and I'm free right now, and, like, I'm gonna be free later. So if you want to, like, talk about that, if it's not even a thing, you could just set me straight right now. But to kind of just open that up and invite it in. I feel like there's some friends who are, like, match me in that energy. I feel like you are also a very open person. But a lot of my friends actually are not. A lot of my friends, like, and I say this just because they've told me that, a lot of my friends also are actively working on vulnerability and, like, pride themselves on a lot of other amazing things. But, like, openness can be difficult. And it's difficult for me sometimes too, honestly. I think that something that was really touching was one of my friends, who shall remain unnamed, but we had met up, and she, I think she just keeps a lot inside. I think a lot has happened in her life, and I think that it feels like there's no way to explain it. You know what do you ever, like, so much time has passed, either so much time has passed or so much has happened that it's, like, almost draining to even think about catching a friend up on something.
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
I don't know where to start, bitch. The fuck?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm fine. And I think that, like, in general, like, in her life, she's experienced a lot of hardship. And I realized I didn't know much about that side of her, even though I knew that to be a fact. And she would, like, during this one conversation in particular, let me in to be like, I don't know how I feel about this. She mentioned that she had been, like, thinking about starting therapy, but then she said, like, a bunch of things that made her doubt, like, therapy being useful. And, yeah, I do go to therapy. I've been going to therapy for, like, a year and some change now. Ask me about insurance another time. But, I'm happy.
I was using vouchers for a while.
what I'll say is that I have found a way, and also she is incredible and is very pay what you can, which is very genuinely just has saved my life.
Yeah.
Seriously. But I think that I kind of just opened up because I was just like, whenever I feel like there's something that's hard for someone to talk about, I try to find a similarity. I don't think you always have to have one. And I think that, like, when I don't, I also let it rock in that way, and I'll just be, like, really, truly just inviting you to, like, if you ever feel like talking about it, please do, because I am interested, and I feel like I picked up some stuff. But if I have experienced something remotely similar, which I typically have,
yeah, it's hard out here.
It's hard out here. And honestly, if you have friends that are part of similar demographics, like, sometimes there's just going to be that overlap of, like, I've been through that. Yeah. And, like, it always feels natural for me to just start talking about how that particular hardship has introduced itself to me as well. Because I think that, like, she was talking about a lot of family trauma, and I was like, I also didn't want to talk to this family member before because they did this to me, and honestly, whatever. And I was just kind of going to that, and she was like, wow, and started talking to me more. I think what was really... it really hit me deep, actually, because, like, this friend is very funny, okay? She's hilarious, genuinely. All of our friends agree she's, like, hilarious, and I feel like she can also use that as a tool to, like, hide a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I had just never really had, like, this much of a poignant conversation with her before about, like, direct shit she's struggling with, and I didn't even realize I had done it, but after the fact, she had talked to me, and she said... we're also newer friends. So she had said, I've never talked about this ever in my life.
Oh.
And I was like, what? Like, okay. Like, I'm happy that you felt comfortable doing so. And she straight told me, like, I just feel comfortable around you because you always, like, do the scary thing first. And you, like, will also talk about your shit. Which, by the way, I'm always... let me know if I'm going too long. Let me know if I'm rambling.
Keep going.
I'm always kind of scared to do that because I never wanted to seem like, me too, and let me tell you about me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think that, like, if we're being honest... but it's not only is it a balance, but also, like, I feel like that is something that is talked about a lot. Like, don't, trauma, don't, like, whatever, on, like, in social media.
Oh, social media, yeah.
But it's like, if you are actually a close friend of someone and you're talking candidly and openly and you're raw in public, in person with each other, you can also see if that person has that tone or, like, that energy. Because also, like, I think it's pretty easy to suss out, like, oh, you're making this about you, or, like, oh, thanks for letting me in while I'm letting you in, type of thing. So she kind of just expressed that was really pivotal for her, and she really appreciated me being that kind of person, which I really didn't realize I did. I just, like, sometimes I don't like people feeling uncomfortable or feeling like what they're experiencing is so fucked or, like, so abnormal or, like, they're so weird. And, like, if I've been through it, I'm just gonna say it. And try to be an ear when they're ready to talk. So I think at the end of the day, I learned that day that my vulnerability is something that a few of my friends who struggle with that area genuinely really look to. I think before I had judged myself for it, because there would be times where they'd be like, how are you? And I would, like, spill. And then I'd be like, how are you? They'd be like, good. And then that would make me feel like, did I overtalk? Like, I feel kind of like tail between my legs. Like, did I kind of do too much? But I had asked one of my friends after that, and she was like, no, I never feel that way. I always admire that silently in you. I just, like, if I don't open up, like, I'm trying my best, but, like, I didn't open up. And that's, like, not on you.
Yeah.
And it was nice to hear.
That is nice to hear.
But it's really nice to hear that, like, it's helpful sometimes, or that, like, that really was pivotal for that friend. I think I lost the last part of that question. What was...
no, you explained a situation where you had to kind of do that.
Okay, yeah.
But wow, I'm just sitting here like, that's something that you said about how your entry into it is like asking a question. Like, yeah. I really think, I always say, like, questions are the best way, because then you're offering people a chance to like have a choice, an option, and control, because it's supposed to be about them anyway.
Right.
So it's like they can say yes, they can say not right now, and you can even preface it with that, like, it's whatever you're comfortable with. It's not like I'm trying to make you do anything. Like,
I'd be wrong, because that's why I'd be asking, because one time I was wrong. And I was like, oh, shit.
No, there's nothing wrong with me.
No, because all the things were adding up, and I said, you're experiencing this. And she said,
no.
Not too much. And I said, oh, my bad.
So, ooh, swung and miss.
Yeah, swung and miss. So, yeah, I think it's always important. I also just learned that I'm in a long-term relationship as well, and I'm just like, something that I found really helpful is just like not assuming. You can know someone really well, like really well, be with them for years, live with them, whatever it is, hang out with them a lot, know their sense of humor. But at the end of the day, like, it's never helpful in a conversation to assume somebody's feelings. It's never helpful to be like, you're pissed, and that makes me feel this way, because it's like, whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Did I say I was pissed? Like, now I'm pissed. You know what I mean?
You don't want to know how many arguments that I've overheard where that exact language was used, and I cringed so hard, and I felt so bad, because I'm just like, that's so unproductive. It's and extremely wrong. Unproductive. Like, to place something on somebody like that. It
really is. I've been really trying to be intentional about that. I really do try to be intentional about that, and just like ask, like you were saying, calling out, like, be like, okay, I feel, what are you feeling about this situation? And to really ask that, like, genuinely wanting to know, not just trying to bait somebody.
Right.
I think that a lot about conversations, and especially arguments, is really just like coming with the intention to understand. Okay, because I grew up as a speech person and debater as well, and it's like, I'm coming to argue, but it's like, no, I'm not trying to convince you I'm right. I'm genuinely trying to understand how you feel, because maybe that directly impacts me being right anyway. Like,
yes, this happened in a situation with me and one of my brothers at the beginning of the year. Literal situation where I had to take a pause and say, I'm not trying to convince you of, because he was just like, I'm not hearing a valid argument here. I was like, wait, when did I say I was trying to convince you of something?
This is not...
I'm just like, I'm telling you what my perspective is about this, and then I asked you for yours, but I'm not trying to, and like, if you convince me, that is a byproduct, but I'm not sitting here trying to be convinced or trying to convince you. I just want to know the why in the situation. And, like, maybe some empathy will come out of that for me. Like, maybe I'll be able to understand, but...
It's really insightful to start with questions. Yeah. Seriously. It's changed a lot for me.
It's like, that don't mean you have to convince me, but I do want to understand. It's like, I might end up understanding and not be convinced.
Right. I might understand and decide I'm going to double down. No. It's really helpful.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. That was such a beautiful, like, course of that answer of that question. And now I'm going to go into my second one, which is, can you talk about some, you're like, playing with the audience, playing with the camera. I love doing that. I've been like, I see y'all over there. So are there any significant experiences you can talk about where another friend had a profound impact on your life? Because you've talked a cool experience that you've had in terms of just like broadly experiencing people admiring your vulnerability. And also you talked a little bit earlier about like admiring your sisters, and I just want to know, like, if you could speak more about an experience about friendship or a friend having a profound impact on your life, and how did it shape your perspective on friendship?
Oh my gosh. Friends.
Friends.
How many of us have them? Friends. Oh my gosh. I have a great example. I do want to shout them out. Okay. Can I name drop?
You can name drop if you think they'd be comfortable with it. That's totally fine.
Yeah. I hadn't thought through that before. Yeah, no, I should. I think they'd be comfortable with it. Shout out to my Pookie. Shout out to Joe K, a day Joe K.
I knew it. I can't wait to hear you talk more about this.
I love them. Basically, I think that I've learned so much having her in my life. Since when we're baby adults now. Babes, I met them when I was 17.
Yeah.
Freshman year. I think that so much has been impacted. So much of my life has been impacted by their politics on love. Actually, I think that, like, first of all, having them in my life has taught me that we're very similar people with very similar poles of, like, justice and just wanting to hold niggas accountable, if I'm being, like, not letting shit slide, and, like, really feeling strongly about the things that you believe, and that being because you actually are informed about them too, and not just because, like, whatever, like, read, you know what I mean? Which I really respect about them, but also, I think that, like, they're one of my first friends where I realized you're gonna have a lot of things in common with your friends. You're also gonna have a lot of things about you that are so different. That, like, we always joke about how, like, we'd rather die than, like, if we had to date each other. Like, she'd be like, I literally could never date you. Like, she'd be like, bro, like, I love you down, but, like, we're so different in some of the things we believe. Because, one, I'm just a very monogamous person, and so much about them is, not that, but also that. I feel like there's such a huge spectrum. They've definitely been in monogamous things. They also, like, are very confident and comfortable in their polyamory, and, like, are really well informed of, like, I think that they taught me that not everything is for everybody, but everything is so valid. Like, I grew up very religious, and it's like, I definitely grew up like, wow, like, you just mad greedy, like, have one person, you know what I mean? Like, that's so crazy. I really deeply don't feel that way anymore, and they just happen to be the first person in my life, like, in my direct life, to be, of that, like, who that relationship style really works with. I think that, like, that also, acknowledging that about them, leads into how they realized that love is overflowing and abundant. I think that, like, they really taught me that you can never really run out. And I think that it really helped me. I already really, really valued friendships. And I think that that's something I'm really proud of, because growing up, and this is no shade to, like, the parentals, but there was a lot of trauma around friends growing up. I wasn't allowed to carpool. I wasn't allowed to hang out anywhere that wasn't my house. Not really. I wasn't allowed to. I had a very, very strict upbringing, very overprotective. And there is, like, some of that stemming from my sister and the way that she passed, being deeply related to and tied to the people she was around that night. And how my mom, you know, not the deep shit. My mom never really trusted those friends, and my sister didn't really agree. So I think that there was a lot of stuff around, like, mother knows best, and, like, look at what can happen, which is, you know, some really deep shit. And I think that from that stemmed an immense distrust of people who aren't blood, and of, like, you know, family first. Like, these people don't care about you. Like, especially when her friends stopped calling and stopped sending flowers and stopped, you know, my mom being like, and where's my daughter, you know, type shit. Like, and I think that, like, for a long time, that kind of did, like, that. I'm not going to call her bitter. There's so many layers to grieving. Like, and I give my mom, like, she is incredible for still standing on this earth after losing a daughter, first of all. So let's not even do that. But I do think that, like, losing can make you bitter. And I think that I started feeling bitter because I was like, yeah, I don't trust none of y'all hoes. Like, y'all let me die. And so I really had to decide that, like, not everybody would let you be left alone. Not everybody would, you know, not show up for you. That friendships are worth pursuing, and that family is worth finding.
Ooh, yes.
You know?
That was beautiful.
It really is something that that is deeply, like, something I decided to believe, because I heard so much of the opposite of that, specifically after that occurrence. And I feel like in my early teens, I was really fighting for that, because my other sister, she's not really, at least in high school when we were there together, very in her books, very, like, not that social. And I was always really outspoken. I was always very extrovert. I was always very, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Which, of course, I have already set up that, like, I was super, like, overprotected. And so that, like, directly clashed with my upbringing. So I felt like throughout my life, I was always fighting and fighting and fighting for my friends to be represented and seen as the family I knew they were. And now sometimes my mama was right, and I had to bite my tongue on that later. And like that friend she said wasn't shit. But a lot of the times, the friends she said wasn't shit are still by me to this day. And so at the end of the day, it's about making your own choices. But I think to circle back to a day okay, shout out Brata. I love them because
I can't wait for them to listen.
No, literally,
so watch this hopefully too.
No, like I love her so deeply. And I think that I just recognize so many parts of me, so many parts of them. We are all so expansive. Like, the person I met freshman year is only part of who they are. And, like, we change so much over time, but also stay exactly the same. I think that, like, being able to have a friend that has consistently been my best friend in such a pivotal part of life, which is like teenhood to early adulthood, and like the way that I know it's going to extend far past that into like being a real adult, because I'm not, like has made me just see so much possibility in riding with somebody through it. Like, something that Joe K has expressed to me is like, not even expressed. Actually, we've had arguments because we lived together twice. We lived together freshman year, and then we chose to live together outside of college in an apartment. So close. Most of the time, it felt like sleepovers and bestie vibes. But other times, like, living together is hard.
Yeah.
And we definitely have had our share of tiffs. And shit where it's like, bitch, fuck you. But then it's like, the way that and she taught me so much about, like, I don't care if we're beefing right now. I know you're a for lifer. It's about, do we need space? Okay, whatever. Do we not need space? Are we going to resolve it? Are we going to resolve it tomorrow or in a week? It doesn't matter. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to not be here. And I think that just, like, their ability to hold people accountable, and they're huge on being intentional for the people you love, whether that's friend, family, lover, whatever. Like, I had to learn to be intentional through them, honestly, and like really thoughtfully so, and that is always worth giving, and that there's no hierarchy in the relationships we have. What really makes something different than like the love you have for a sister, from the love you have for your future spouse, from the love you have from your best friend of your whole life, like, nobody's disposable. It's about the different relationships you have, but the love should be just as deep. And if it's not, that's something maybe you should question that relationship, in my opinion. I believe in loving deeply, and I think that they really have helped me come to that understanding of just like extending grace, not letting people get by on shit, holding people accountable, and sharing your feelings, yes, but actually forgiving them when, like, don't keep someone around if you know that at the end of the day you won't be able to get past it. And I think that they taught me that if there's someone that's important enough and you two agree on that, you can always get past it.
Yeah, that's important. That's important. That's an important distinction too. And to be able to sit there and say, okay, like, we're bigger than this.
Oh,
at the end of it, like, we're bigger than this, and let's take our time and see what we can do, whether it's, like you said, whether it's taking a break and coming back to it whenever, or just dealing with it now, like whatever we're feeling. But yeah,
I think that there's so much that you can like decide, like, oh, this person's a for lifer. But at the end of the day, if you haven't had documented examples of going through shit, deciding to work through it, to work on your conflict resolution, because that's going to be different for every pair of people, every relationship you have, because the two of you are different in every situation.
Exactly.
Deciding to learn how to work with each other and commit to it, and you've gotten through at least a couple trials and tribulations, I feel like that's when it's like, I've decided that there's probably nothing you could do to not make me want you in my life for good. And like, if you can work through that, you can work through anything, honestly.
Yeah. Ooh, it's such a interesting, like, journey at this age with friendships, and I really admire those type of friendships that you're talking about, where it's like, you knew me at this point in my life, and we grew, we put together these building blocks between so many, like, pivotal moments of growth, like, those ages, like, late teens to...
Yeah, I was mad different.
Yeah. Ooh. Like, we're different people, for real.
For sure. Yeah.
So, and I also have to... I was just talking about this recently. Like, I also have to give myself grace when I think about that. Like, me saying that something, like, I know, like, I feel it, that something is not working for me, and not putting guilt or blame on myself, or like, oh, has this person always been this way and I just never saw it type thing, or,
oh, please, yeah.
And yeah, I'm just like, that's so useless. Like,
it's really not helpful.
Yeah, so I'm just like, they were different. We were different. I was different. Yeah. And this is just where we are now.
And also, people can just reveal more and more things over time.
Yeah, that's true. That too.
So
I can't talk.
Like, well,
that too.
I didn't know you wasn't shit 3 years ago, but you just don't get it.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's fair. And it's never worth, like, berating yourself in the process. Like,
yeah.
Because also, I think that love is accepting that some things might not stay exactly the same. That doesn't mean you have to, like, stop loving that person.
True.
Dude. Yeah. And I think that I learned that with, like, having conflict with family, too.
Yeah. Because it's like, you from a distance.
No, you can hey. You can love people from a distance. That's all I will say.
Oof. Woo. There's so many people that I love from over there. Like,
that corner of the room.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's that time. This a reason that I wanted to make this podcast, too, is because it feels like I've been forced to grow with a couple of, at least 3 very specific relationships this past year. I've walked up to the line, and it's kind of just like, okay, what are you gonna do? You don't have a choice. Like, you really can't go back, or you really can't sit in this, because literally life was saying, at that point, if you still sit here, it's on you.
At this point, you're disrespecting yourself.
Right, exactly.
The point of no return for real.
Really, it's not on them, and you can't even say anything about them at this point, because you're doing it to yourself.
Ooh.
And that's what I started to realize.
See, but you can also say shit always about that person, too.
Yeah, true.
You can always acknowledge the harm there.
Yeah, true.
But yes, hold yourself accountable as well.
Right, because there are certain times when I'm just like, they don't actually care, or they don't see what's going on. In terms of what's going on here, they don't, I think it's really that they don't care enough to put any intention behind, like, what this is or what we need to do.
Yeah.
And so they'll just let this go on forever. And I think that's the difference. Like, that's why it's on me now, because I can actually change this, because they don't care and I do.
Yeah, and they've shown you they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, okay, so yeah, I'm not going to stay in the state of limbo, like...
Yeah.
Even if, like, especially with family, like, even if we don't talk for a while, like, we have to do something about the activity that is this relationship. Like, we don't have to be communicating every single time, but, like, if you're just gonna do certain things that are just, like, showing me that you don't care, or you're not supportive, or you just don't see me, or don't want to understand, or try to understand, I guess, or just, like, talk. I guess it's just, like, a listening thing. Then I was like, we might have to take a step back. We might.
It is a listening thing. It's also, like, a trusting thing. Like, because sometimes you'll say something, like, that you know for a fact, whether it's a fact of life, whether it's a fact of your lived experience, or just something that has affected you and it literally happened. Why are you arguing with me?
Yeah.
It isn't debatable.
It isn't debatable.
At that point, it's like, it feels like a lack of trusting, because it's like it doesn't feel like you're trusting my character, one. But it just doesn't feel like, if I could spill something vulnerably to you and you not care, should I trust you with me? Like,
yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Ooh. On that note, let's go into my last question that I have for you. Which is that, and this is directly what we were talking about a second ago. Like, when you have those moments where you're not talking, but there's still activity. Like, it's not like you're not friends anymore just because you're not talking. Like, people get busy. There's shit to do. And we know that we're always there for each other no matter what. Which I have... Did it drop something?
I didn't.
Well, anywho.
It's a little scary.
That's what editing is for.
It's a fun little bit.
Yeah. Never mind. Let's talk about that later. So, anyway, when there's a pause in communication and, like, in the moments where we're not actively, like, upholding just physical or, like, virtual whatever, like, contact, I guess some people view that differently in my experience. Like, with some friends I've had, like, a total, like, exhausting back and forth about me feeling like that's understandable. And there's nothing wrong with our schedules getting busy and them being like,
Josca,
this is your fault.
Josca.
This is your fault that we're not talking. I said, we're not friends just because we didn't talk for 2 weeks.
You said, I thought you were going to say we're not friends.
We're not. No, I'm just like, to me, that's not, like, I don't know.
Right.
But sometimes it's a big pivot for people who are still in the mindset of, we were in school, we were talking every day, and I'm just like, the convenience of proximity doesn't exist anymore, right. And you have to get that in your head that we have to make this shift, and there's nothing wrong with that. And my last question is, what advice would you give in maintaining friendships across distance and time? And what strategies or rituals do you use to stay connected with friends who might live far away or have busy lives?
I love this question because I had to learn that a few years ago because I'm from California and then I went to school in New York. So I had people I cared about just off bat, and I, like, really wanted to keep that up. I'll say that, like, it takes, for me at least, it took a concerted effort to learn how to, once again, be
intentional.
Because for me, like, when I had never had to flex that muscle, it was proximity. It was high school. It was, whatever family friends who grew up in the same exact hometown. It was, in my face, you're on my mind. Out of sight,
right?
You're out of that mind.
Exactly.
And I think that...
Right.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here like, yep.
And it don't even be on purpose, right? So I think that, like, moving to New York, I ended up hurting people. I ended up hurting some friends at that point in my life because I didn't realize, like, that I needed to change. I didn't realize it would take work. I didn't even realize my shortcomings in terms of communication. So after a concerted effort and, like, feedback from my friends who were far away and just, like, growing up and knowing how I like to be communicated with too, I feel like I like really planning things out. Like, if I know that, like, and it's funny because I don't really use a planner. Don't be me. Don't be me. But the thing I do use a planner for is my scheduled FaceTime calls. I love a good FaceTime call.
Yes.
I really do. It really warms my soul. I feel like, on average, okay, so if I have a friend who lives in Europe, I have a friend who lives just, like, states away, like, stuff like that. And, like, I feel like I try to keep up a consistent, like, cycle with staying up to date in their lives. I'm not the best texter. Texting doesn't necessarily fulfill me. I feel like if there's something to quick pop in about, we'll, like, go back and forth and then it's like done.
Exactly.
But like, it's hard for me to, like, sustain a long-term relationship and long-distance relationship, like, solely over text. So basically I'll just be like, so we agree that we're gonna talk, like, once a month, but when we talk on FaceTime, it's gonna be for 6 hours. Yeah. It is, because I need to know what's going on. I need to fill you in. I just need our cadence back. We all have a rhythm with different friends, and it's just like, I feel like all of the friends I have are so vital to my life. And then it's so funny because then you, like, realize that you start, like, sounding like them during the call. By hour 5, you're, like, saying shit they say, and it's like, bitch, get out of my head. That's why you gotta go for a month. No. But I think that what's really helps me is, like, scheduling FaceTime calls dead ass. It seems kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it can seem hoity-toity, like, wow, you have to put me in your calendar, and it's like, wow, I should just be able to call you and you pick up. Here's the thing. Also do that. Like, if you call me, I'll pick up. You know what I mean? I like the concrete. I just like knowing that there's a time slot. And the spontaneous shit can happen throughout, but knowing that I set aside that time for me is important. Aside from that, I'd say also just like, a friend said this before, and I forgot who it was. But I learned something years ago, which is the second you think of someone, text them.
Yeah.
Like, it takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm just out, because with you, because, okay, let's get into it. Because I was going to a little concert supporting my other friend, and I was going to her little backyard concert in Brooklyn, and I happened to pass by the apartment where Josca used to live. And I was just like, I just pulled out my phone, I voice memo, I said, oh my God. So I basically just like wanted to let you know in the moment that I was like, Josca, you know what I mean? I literally passed your stoop and I said, you should still live there. But I said,
I know, I love that apartment.
It was a good apartment. The fridge situation was a different thing. But
yeah, just because 4 people trying to use one fridge.
It's hard with one fridge.
Yeah, and it's not like we're sharing meals like a family. So
right.
That was the only thing. Like,
that's different.
Next time I would have gotten a mini fridge, you know?
Yeah.
Like that.
You live and you learn.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think that like that's just a really important thing to remember. Like, it's easy, it's organic. You care about that person, and throughout life, like, people you care about, like, things, passing moments will just remind you of them. And I say, the second it does, just pull out your phone.
Yeah, I do that too, because I remember being like, Katrina, miss you, FaceTime soon.
And also just to say, like, that's kind of the best thing to ever get texted about. Like, if you bring in a smile to my face immediately, you do that. My other friend, Tyra, I love Tyra. Yes. She also does that. Just be like, hey boo, kind of miss you. That's kind of crazy. What if we FaceTime soon? And it's like, we should. Like, you're so right about that. So I think that, like, that, yeah, those are my tips.
Yeah. Love your tips. And I'm sitting here like, no, like, no, really, because I feel like you're the only person that I really, like, scheduled the FaceTime calls with.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah, like, in the beginning it feels a little like, okay. But here's my thing also. If you're really close to someone, because here's something that does happen, okay? It can happen where you plan it. I say never plan it too far out. That's my one tip, because I have trial and error. If it's Monday of this week, why are you scheduling shit for Saturday of 2 weeks in the future? Look, if that's how your schedule's set up and you're mad busy, sure. But, like, if you can get it within the next week, do that. Because it's like, you might get to that and then it's like, you had a bad day. You mad depressed. I'd be depressed. And it's like,
I'd be depressed.
And it's like, and sometimes you just be wanting this, not a crippling. Sometimes you be wanting to send an update, and it's just like, honestly, could we reschedule? Because I've just been having a really hard day, and I know we planned this like 2 weeks ago, but today's not the day. I feel like that's also okay, because imagining that you have decided and designated time for this friend to talk to them for hours because you love them and care about them so much, and you have that already relationship, they'll also understand that. And I feel like when you reschedule, if that happens, like, make it in a few days at most.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the easiest way for me to really, when I think of them, like, have that energy in the call too of like, this is why I wanted to talk to you, and it's still like current, and it's like, and I think that it helps just keep up like the cycle of like, I want to talk to you frequently, like maybe there's a little time in between, but like frequently. So yeah, just tip, don't schedule too far out. You will be tired, you will want to flake, don't.
Yeah,
because you made that appointment for a reason, and it was 2 weeks ago, bitch. But here's my thing. Okay, I'm almost done. Sometimes it'll be like, oh, it's too far out and I'm gonna flake. Other time, but I feel like I've started feeling that because I've realized lately that I can be socially anxious. Even it has nothing to do with any of my beloved friends. Sometimes I'm just like, wow, I wonder if I even have the capacity to breathe. And then it's like, but I need to talk to someone that I want to. I do.
Yeah.
But I'm so tired. I feel like get on the call anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. There are a lot of times.
Okay, you're like me. I
feel like get on the call anyway.
It can be so helpful.
I've learned that it's like, actually, I really cherish that specifically. Like, I used to be so reclusive when I was feeling down. Not me also learning this from Joe K. Please, bitch, fuck off. No, come back. No, but I, like, and sometimes be reclusive, you know what I mean? Sometimes we need alone time. Sometimes just be sad in your corner and cry and do whatever.
Right.
But other times, if you have something planned and you're sad and you don't want to go, but it's with a close friend, bitch, go.
Yeah.
Those are the times where it's like, wow, I remember, like, why things matter to me, because I have relationships like this that fill me up, and that's the point. You can't like fill someone up if they're always full. Like when I'm depleted, I should also be able to come to you, and that's why too. Because like, and
my goodness,
unselfishly, but like, yeah, you fill me up, like, and then I always go home feeling better, or I always get off the call being like, I'm happy I did that anyway.
Yes,
so I say do it anyway.
That's exactly how I feel, and I'm gonna be honest, like. I literally had to put a pin in a friendship because of a disconnect there. I'm like, we've been trying to schedule a call for 3 months.
Right.
And I kid you not.
Yeah.
I cannot do it anymore. If you are having to keep telling me that I'm not up to it, I'm like at a certain point I understand. Yes, definitely. But at a certain point I'm like, shouldn't I be one of the things that makes you feel better? or no? So I'm just like...
It definitely shouldn't be a pattern.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do that because it just really feels like it's starting to feel like you don't actually care about me that much. And
because what if I needed you?
Right. Oop. And
it's not the rain.
Yeah, it's raining.
Oh, it's pouring. The old man is snoring.
I know. My commuter's going to be like,
Oh, God.
But anywho, let me take a couple of minutes to answer the questions that you have for me.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
What do you mean you've been listening this whole time and you haven't subscribed yet? I don't see what the holdup is. The button is right there. And while you're at it, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You obviously like the show.
I do have preguntas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, missed a call from Carol Newman. She be calling me. Okay.
She said, you gonna be here tomorrow?
Oh my God, I am gonna be there tomorrow. Okay, # flights. Josca. Number 1. What is your favorite part of the process of making a new friend?
Ooh. Like you kind of mentioned earlier about asking questions, but in another context, I like to just like ask questions. I'm just like, so I get so eager to know, like learn something that has nothing to do with me. I'm just like,
that's real.
I'm a little nosy, and not in the very invasive way, but in the way it's like I'm really excited to fish out a difference in between us that I really admire. Like, oh, that's not the way I do something, or I've never heard of that before, or wow, that's kind of how you, like the other day I asked my friend something and I'm just like, wow, learning about you is so cool because like, and also you get really inspired by the way people do things, and I also think that like we're all just like walking around here living our lives, and you get to tap into people's lives, and then you find something that you connect to, and then I feel like I fall in love with friends really fast. I'm just like something about the look in your eyes and the way you speak about your passions, and I love when people are really passionate about their stuff, and I can just sit there all day and be like, wow, you're passionate about something.
Yeah, no, that is beautiful.
Yeah, so I guess just hearing people like talk, and I'm a real big advocate for listening, as you probably have realized.
Josca's a great listener.
I just be trying to like, I would want people to do that for me sometimes too. We all need to be listened to. We all need to be heard. And yeah, just like, it feels like a privilege to get a glimpse into someone's process.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just like addicted to being inspired as well. And that's like...
Hey, I'm trying to get more like that because like,
Yeah, but it's like, it's cool like just hearing the way people talk about things. Just like the humor that people have, and I'm just like,
people can respond to things a billion different ways.
Exactly, and it's so fascinating.
It is fascinating.
I just love hearing people talk and like going through their whole style. Like I'm like, you're your own person, and you know, I feel like, and when I realize we vibe, and when I get that little moment that there's a connection, it's just like dopamine.
It's really
like,
affirming.
Yeah, and it's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Love that.
It is cool, especially like, I totally agree in terms of like just hearing the way someone's brain works, like the thought process, because like we might both end up here. And how the hell did you start there? And it's like, let's back it up, and it's just so intriguing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally agree.
I love that. Okay, question number 2. Okay. On days when you're feeling down and out is how I wrote it.
Oof.
Come on now.
There are those days.
Oof. Do you feel like it's important to keep up with your friends?
We just talked about this.
If so, how do you invite them into where you're at?
Yeah. And I feel like we've had this before a lot too, where we've said, yes, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yes.
With our calls. And
Yeah.
And I've had that silently where I probably didn't say it, but I'm just
real.
like, I'm going to do it anyway. And then we end up kind of like realizing during the call that we're in this sort of space.
Yeah.
I think the way I just invite people into the space is just like, you know, I ask people for advice. I'm the kind of friend sometimes who's just like, what do you think about that? Or what could I do? Like, sometimes I'm just like, what could I do? And I think it's interesting because I've had a lot of friends who, like, in my head, I'm like, oh, they just need to be told. They need permission to ask, or they need they need to feel like this space is comforting, and I need to just like make that more clear that it's okay. Like, you can.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my thing. I'm just like, I have no problems with asking for just like different options for how I'm doing things. Like, I'm like, maybe this is stagnant the way I've been doing this. Like, maybe I need to expand, whether it's self-care, whether it's like, I don't know, like, I just think about, I was talking to someone about reading books or something like that, and I'm just like, man, is there another type of book I can read? Or just like, I don't know. I think I do ask for advice sometimes, and I just let people in. And like, we were talking about vulnerability earlier.
Yeah.
And I think I'm vulnerable in that type of way where I'm just like, I get into those moments where I'm just like, it hurts to not be honest about it, because I'm just like, I can't do this alone.
I can't put something else on either.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm supposed to.
I really can't be fake.
Right.
And I want y'all to realize acting is not about being fake.
It is not.
Like, but you're an actor. And I'm like,
not in my life. Like, damn. Like,
right. I'm like, I can't be fake.
Right.
Literally, I can't be fake, and that's why I'm an actor.
Have we thought about that?
Right. Have we
That's a good
looked
point.
into that? So
I think that not being able to be fake makes you a really good actor too.
exactly. That's what I think.
It really does, now that I think about it, because so much of acting is just like being honest to your genuine reactions in the moment, guided, of course, by, the intent, whatever. But it's like, you gotta be present. Right. And babes, if you're not real, you're gonna be like, get out of your head. If you're in your head, you already failed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's on period.
That's on her. But here's my thing. I think that's a really admirable trait, though. What you were getting at with, like, sometimes you'll just be sitting and you'll want to ask questions to let people in, because you'll be like, maybe my, like, thought process is stagnant. Bro, a lot of people wouldn't go there. Like, they wouldn't think that. Like, they just be like, well, this is what I'm thinking, and, like, it's not working. And, like, I'm just, like, stressed about it. But it's like, what if you're wrong? Or not even wrong. But what if you just, like, could try something else?
Yeah,
right?
Or, like, don't know what else is out there.
Could use some insight, right? Like, what if you're just, like, not on an island?
Right.
And I think for you to even be, like, trusting of your friends, but I think that's also the thing, like your friends. Because if you like your friends, you'll, like, see that they really probably do have something they could add that would, like, benefit you. Because you like the traits that come with them, and, like, respect their opinion. So I think that that's a good thing to be aware of, that, like, we don't know all the answers. It's always nice to ask. I think asking to let people in feels really organic.
Yeah, and I was just thinking just now, like, another reason that it really hurt in a recent friendship that I had to put a pin in, because that used to be what I really loved about our friendship. Like, we would ask each other for advice, and it felt like, yeah, we didn't stay on our islands. Yeah. It was just like, kind of like, beautiful. What would you do? Or like, yeah. And when things started to change, I remember saying, like, we don't talk anymore like we used to. Like, literally song lyrics. No, that's making me laugh. But
Charlie.
But I'm just thinking about it. Like, I was just like, I had to bring that up, and I had to voice that and not be afraid to be like, are we changing? Is this like, are you not comfortable with me anymore? Like, just kind of confused about what happened. Or
is that how they felt?
Or no. Like, later I found out what it was. It was more like a personal thing of, I'm starting to go through something that I feel ashamed of, and it's like a different thing. Like, even even expressing it to you is hard.
Wow.
And that was just like,
That's
okay,
real.
like that does happen.
That will
like
shift it.
that does happen, and I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
I totally understand that. It still didn't work out because it didn't. I never felt like we could really get past that, even though I was accepting. I was just like, this type of thing happens. Like we go through things, and especially when we're bombarded by life and all the things we have to get done. I'm like, this kind of thing happens, but
yes.
But yeah, you also have to take into consideration that not everything can continue as it was, and but that's something that I still hold with friendships. It's like, I gotta be like, what would you do sometimes?
What would you do, John Quinones?
Right.
I hope he's listening.
Right.
I was never in like the tri-state area. Like, I was watching it from Cali, they'd always be like, in this city in New Jersey. And I'd be like, damn, when y'all coming out west? So I have one more question.
Yes.
So, what about our friendship comforts you?
Oh my goodness, so much. I feel like it's been made clear a little bit throughout our conversation already, but I just feel like I can let down walls and like let loose and really talk about anxiety too, and we talk about that sometimes, and I'm just like,
we'd be going through it, yeah.
It's hard, and also I just like give you kind of like a rundown sometimes. We do this for each other though, like give you a rundown of like other relationships in my life, and cause sometimes I just be like, am I really the boo-boo, like the boo-boo the fool, like
the boo-boo the fool, no.
The boo-boo the fool.
No, yeah, for sure.
Because sometimes you have to like let other people in and just be like, because here's another thing that comforts me. Well, first I'll say this. I go through moments in my life sometimes where I'm just like, I forget that people are actually terrible sometimes. I'm like, can't be. Like, sometimes I'm just like, that can't be real. Like, you can't act, like, what is going through your head to be a terrible person like that? And like, are you just that way? Are you intentionally doing something to be... Are you lacking self-awareness? Right. Are you being obtuse?
Are you being a 180-degree angle?
Right.
Wait. That would be a flat line. Discredit what I just said.
Don't ask me. I used to be intelligent. No, I'm just kidding. Just like I used to get good grades and I forgot everything. It's been years. No. I still remember some stuff, but yeah, sometimes I'm just like, it really baffles me. Like my mom had to remind me when I was telling her about some of the things I was going through with multiple different people. It was really my mom who reminded me that people are really out here just not it.
No,
like not it. She had to really put that in my head, and like I do love hearing about her experience, like about people that she's come across, people that she's had relationships with, and we mirror each other in a way with an experience of a friendship and having to like be like, I can't keep doing this like at a certain point, or like there's a cycle and a pattern, and so yeah, I forgot where I was going for a second, but but yeah, I was just saying that sometimes, first of all, forget that. Oh yeah, I remember now. I be forgetting that people are like that for real, and that's just how they are. And then I think what comforts me when I talk to you is that I just feel like I don't feel weird for thinking that. Sometimes it just feels like, okay, yes, this is how somebody is. Yes, this is like, it's like kind of a shame sometimes. Like, it's like, what can you do?
It really
type of
is,
thing.
like,
and
unfortunately.
Right. It's like some relationships or some issues or experiences you can't really put all of your effort into it, and like a lot of it is outside of your control, so it's just like this person is going to act like this whether you do XYZ or not, and it's just like I guess the way me and you have conversations about running up against things like that is like really comforting to me, because it just reminds me that I shouldn't put so much pressure on myself.
I think that's fair.
I think you have definitely been, specifically you have been like a constant reminder that I shouldn't put so much pressure on myself about that, especially like family problems, other friendships. It's just like, even if you're not saying it specifically, the way we talk about and like go through us talking about a certain situation, your input is just, that's what it gives. It's just like, you know, this is not something, like, this is not a hill that you should die on, because you're not going to be able to, like, change the person. They've got to want to change themselves.
Josca, I mean, I feel really glad. I feel honestly really touched that I've been able to remind you of that, because I had to, like, convince myself, because, like, that's true. First of all, it's true. But it was a long journey for me to validate that. I feel like there was a lot for me to unpack. I think that I've always had, in the certain family structure that I'm dealing with right now, a pressure to hold things together, and it always feels like I should have pressure on me. Like, even when people aren't even, well, no, niggas are always directly putting pressure as well, but I feel like even internally it got to the point where I was like, no, like, I should, like, this is my cross to bear.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I relate to that.
come on now. But I think that, like, I'm happy that my journey, because I think that, like, this year has been hard in that relationship, because it's like something happened that really escalated things to the point where it's like, this is genuinely something that I will not overlook. I can't overlook for my own health.
Yeah.
And it really is a point of no return for me. Like, things can, you know, maybe become better in the future, but they will always be different now. And I think that, like, for the first time in that relationship specifically, where I always put so much on myself, I was just like, I genuinely cannot do this.
Hands off.
I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to put myself through this. I'm done. And so, because I'm happy that, like, me communicating that has helped you.
Yeah.
Because it really do be like, and I think that, like, something similar is that, like, I think we do always have, not always, but I think rose-colored glasses are pretty common for us. Like, because goodness, I really do be trying to see the best in people. And I feel like it really is such a, when it's like, oh, you're a bad person.
Yeah. Because it's bad.
That's really crazy. Like, you don't care. Okay.
And people use people.
Yeah.
Manipulative.
Yes.
Manipulative to the I'm just like, wow,
for sure.
Don't care.
But that's my thing, is I think that in that situation I had to take them. I ripped them off. They were he ripped them off of me. I honestly, I was really fighting to keep them on. I said, and
no more rose-colored glasses.
Right. Some of the one word just, like, mollywopped me in the face, and I think they just went flying. And I think that, like, I'm really happy they flew off.
I like this metaphor.
I didn't even intentionally lift them off my own face, but I think I'm happy they were taken regardless, because because some niggas ain't shit.
That's true.
You know, also recognizing that everyone is a, like, nuanced person, but, like, I'm good off that for now.
Some people are nuanced and terrible, so we're getting to that point where it's important for us to know that. And
yes, no, for sure.
Just like, oops, watch out.
Yeah.
Mind the gap.
Mind the gap, for sure. And, like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I love what you just had to say. I completely agree. I feel really comforted all the time. I think that, like, can I answer the question for myself?
Sure.
I feel like our relationship is just affirming. And that doesn't always have to mean, I mean, it is mostly positive, what I mean. But also affirming can be, like, if you did do some shit to piss me off, because, like, inevitably, like, we're humans. Like, I don't like conflict. I am good at it. I really don't like confrontation, but I will read you. But it makes me anxious. I genuinely don't like it. And, but I would feel less anxious if I had to address you about something you've done wrong in that, you know, imaginary circumstance, because I feel like there's a foundation of mutual respect and listening and trust, which means that if I come to you and I say something hurt my feelings, you're not going to be like, no.
Right.
You're going to be like, oh. Like, if you really did not know, like, you would take it in, I feel. I feel like having a basis of affirmation and a friendship is just nice, because it's like, things that I say and things that you say hold weight. So at the end of the day, whether that's good and I'm like gassing you and that feels really affirming, or like something happens and I tell you, you trust it, which is also affirming to like validate my feelings and my pain. I think that also you're weird.
Thank you.
Respectfully, you're odd. I love an odd bitch. I'm
that's
obscure.
the highest compliment.
I'm obscure, and I just feel
Sorry,
like
I'm not wearing a bra.
don't apologize.
You're right.
I am. No, I just like I feel like I could just be fully me. So that's just a good feeling.
I love that. Oh, that makes me feel so happy. Yeah. And yeah, I'm always the person who's just like you said, we're humans. Like, you need to tell me something, and I'm gonna say it's usually because I've let people down in the past. Like, and it's always that moment where it's just like, wow, I couldn't have foreseen. Like, it's usually when I'm in a moment of tunnel vision, where it's just like I couldn't have foreseen this. And sometimes, I remember one time I let someone down. They addressed me, which I was very, very happy about because, I hate a bitch that, no, I'm just kidding. Come on, but I hate when people keep stuff in and then
and then want to pull it out.
And then pull it out 6 months, which is another issue I had with a friend. And I'm just like, you've been mad about this for 6 months. And then.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
And then we talked through the situation. I'm just like, the way your mind has. I'm just like, but also not that I'm not trying to take accountability, but the way that you've left out all these, this is not even subjective. The way you've left out all these facts of what happened, the situation, I'm like, you've kind of let your mind create a narrative that is actually not what it is.
We're not always reliable narrators. I'm sorry.
No, and I'm just like, I understand, it does not take away from the fact that you felt let down or you felt hurt in some sort of way. But the way you're talking through this, I'm just like, do you know that you forgot, you didn't mention this part. You didn't mention how I did this to actually help at this part. I'm like, you also never told me any of this stuff in the moment that could have immediately.
So how could I,
right, how could I have known that? I'm like,
right.
I could have immediately changed course, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing sometimes. I'm just like, I really appreciate when people can just address me, because I'll be right here with you and be like, yeah, oh, let me actually not be, try to be prideful or anything about it. I'm like, what you're feeling is literally what you're feeling.
Yeah.
There's no I'm not talking you out of that. And that's just something that I also feel like comes from having siblings and having these relationships where it's just we tussle sometimes, and then we also experience a lot of love, so it's just I'm not gonna act like that's not inevitable, and it's probably gonna happen, and we just have to I don't want to be scared of it. That's a big question I always have. Why are we so afraid of confrontation?
Right.
Why are we?
I think honestly it's because we're scared it'll be the end of whatever relationship, or that it can be. But I think that's the beauty of what I was talking about earlier. When you have someone that you've decided, no, your family.
Right.
It makes it less scary.
Yeah.
Even if you're not excited for the conversation, you're not going to lose them.
Yeah. And I'm going to keep that with me. That's something that I feel like I've really taken away from our conversation today. You know what this is, for life.
Yeah.
We're family. Found family, chosen family. Just family all around, whatever it is. I'm just
it really makes my heart swell thinking of that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I hate to transition us into the end.
Please, no.
I know it's hard. It's so tough. This is the toughest thing ever. We do have the ending activity to play before we close out.
I am actually really excited for this, though.
Me too. I want to hear what you have prepared. But it is our old TV Big Three, where you take a TV show that you love, and you're going to take some of the characters and just designate which character represents your sun, your moon, and your rising.
Yeah.
And give us another little sense of who you are. I like letting the audience get to know y'all, so this is fun for me.
For sure. Okay.
Oh my goodness. You did not want me to see. You're
I do not. No. Also, oh my goodness is so just I love it. It feels wholesome and funny. I love when you say oh my goodness.
I say oh my goodness. I say good grief. Everybody laughs when I say that. I'm just
crazy.
y'all don't say good grief?
No. Oh my gosh. I love it. Okay. So, the show that I have to choose, I could have chosen a few, but I landed on none other than How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh my
Charlene,
goodness! Oh my goodness!
I know. Oh my goodness. You're so right. Okay. So.
Because I love that you picked, because there have been a couple of guests who have picked the same ones, and like I've been like, just to let you know, someone picked that already.
Oh no!
But I've been waiting literally for someone to say either Grey's Anatomy or How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh my gosh! Exciting! No, I know you're a Grey stan. I haven't got to like season 2, so I'm fake. So
no, don't worry about it. It's a. You have to really get into that. It might overtake your life, not gonna lie.
Right.
If you decide to go on that journey.
Honestly, I can't be overtook right now. I have so much going on.
That's why I had to press pause on Shameless. I said, I was watching that. I'm not gonna lie, I was watching it walking across the street. And I was just like,
when a show has you like that, there's something in it. I was like that with Lost.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, and I told you that you should watch Lost, didn't I?
You put me on. I was watching Lost in the shower. I was watching Lost on my lunch break. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, How to Get Away with Murder. Come on. My son. Okay, I think these might surprise you.
Okay,
but here's my thing I'm ready to explain. Mm-hmm. So, my son is Oliver Hampton.
Oh.
I know. I feel like when I think of my core personality, like...
A little Ollie.
A little Ollie. I loved him. First of all, I mean, by the end, like, they really corrupted him. Oh my god. I still loved him, but...
Yeah.
I think that I feel really Oliver just because, like, he just has such... He trusts a lot. He's optimistic. I think that, like, this year's been really hard for me. Year 23. But aside from this scrappy year, I'm a typically quite optimistic person. And just, like, the only thing I don't agree with is he's a little shy sometimes. I'm not that. Mm-hmm. But I do think that he's just, like, a positive energy to have in the space. He, like, likes getting to know everybody. He just, like, wants to be around people. It seems like he really does, like, get charged off of other people's energy. He is open to love and loving. And, like, I smile when I think of him. I think he was just a great cast member. I loved, like, when he started being more of a main character on the show. Mm-hmm. And I just love Ollie, like... He's really that guy. So, there's that. My moon. Mm-hmm. Okay. This, I can tussle if y'all make me, but I don't want to. Okay? Because at first, let me tell you what I said at first. At first, I had said none other than Annalise. And that's only because, it's not that. And that's only because I was like, emotions. I was like, she... is always, like, suffocating what she needs, and is like, give. I mean, they really just kind of, like, I mean, she really is, like, everybody's mother. They really milk that, Bonnie. All I can think about is the end scene. Bonnie!
Right. Bonnie was over there, like...
Bonnie's oh my god, not Bonnie died. Wait, did Bonnie die?
Yes.
Wait, Bonnie died. Did Frank die? Frank died.
Yes. Everybody was dropping like flies with that last. I said they gone.
Why kill them off in the last few? Anyway. R.I.P. Bonnie, actually. But anyways, I at first thought it was Annalise because I'm like, oh, like, I feel like something I really, really do need to work on in terms of, like, governing my own emotions is, like, validating them and prioritizing them. I think that is really easy for me to do what's the best outcome for someone I care about, show up for someone because I really want to and I care about them and it'll make them feel a way that I know I want to make them feel, but also, like, if it plays me in the process, I'm just like, you're thinking on the head. No, I don't like that. And I see that thing I also don't like in Annalise, but then I really sat down and I said, no, I'm not like Annalise, because Annalise, oh my god, people in her life be trying to check on her, they'd be like, Annalise, you okay? She'd be like, I'm good. It's like,
that was so guttural.
No, I'm just picturing when she'd be, like, in it. She'd be like, I'm good. Like, no, like, I'm good.
Is this like, your penis on a dead cross?
It's why is your penis on a dead? And he had no see, and he was literally a murderer. That's why he got mollywopped. with a murder weapon.
That's so funny.
He needed to die. But
who's the moon?
Right.
I'm literally like, who did you actually pick?
I'm not like her because like she's super like non-vulnerable. Like she genuinely like is going through a lot at all times. Won't open up. Like won't even open up like at a retreat for opening up. So that I'm not her. So I decided. Listen. Can I get an Asher millstone? Anybody?
Oh my
feel like really
goodness.
really sit with it, okay?
That might be my rising. Asher Mills.
Okay. Let's really get into it because his relationship with Michaela, what a crazy time, right? But I feel like he is always very expressive with how he feels.
I've heard some good things about the actor too, like him being a good person.
Mama Gory's great.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, he's a good egg.
Apparently, he's a good white. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, he's a good white. Love that. He's cool. I mean, don't know him, but seems cool. And like, I just feel like in looking at their relationship, Michaela, she's like traumatized, love her, closed off kind of, and like things give her the ick that are like in just barely like thoughtful, emotional, like deep. Like she'll be like, "Wow, just fuck me," and Asher's over here like, "Michaela, I love you. I love you." And it's like, Asher, like, not too much. But, like, I'm so that.
Yes.
I love Asher because I feel like he goes for what he wants. I feel like he's in touch with his emotions. I think that he often thinks with them. And I think that can be a strength. And I think that I value, like, that he's, like, tries to be morally upright. Now, the reason I said not too much is because he's a white man who makes a lot of mistakes because he's a white man in the show. And Wes will be like, that was a white man thing to say. Like, whatever. Fuck Wes. Wait, let's not even get to it. I like Wes, but like, it's also fuck Wes, but like, I like
what that was giving just now? That was giving like Wendy Williams, like talking about something, and she's like, ooh.
I love her when I come back. But yeah, like, I think they like, him as a person, like, I'm not him. Like, I'm not. But the way that he is in tune with himself and the way that he feels comfortable expressing it to others, I feel like I'm Asher Millstone.
Yeah. They did not have to kill that man. I'm just gonna say, like,
oh my god, I forgot.
Yeah.
I rewatched it recently too, and I still forgot. Oh my god, he did die.
Yeah.
Wait, they all.
I was actually crying at that. I was just like, that was so unnecessary.
Wait, they low-key all died.
Yeah, almost.
They should have killed what was her name? The blue-eyed Mexican girl. Laurel. Laurel. I'm sorry. Laurel was roping people into her family shit.
I was surprised that she made it out unscathed. Like, I was alive. Unscathed?
Right.
I don't know about
unscathed.
Right, alive.
All power to them. Like, Laurel did the best with what she could, but I just feel like you were born in a fuck-ass family.
Yeah.
Leave it at the door. My rising. Now, this might just be because I want to be seen this way, but I think I'm Michaela Pratt. This is why I'm going to say that, right? I think I'm Michaela Pratt. I fell in love with her when I first watched it. Should have known I was gay, but I just fell in love with her because I was just like, I like that she always has a comeback. I like that she's witty, she's well-read, she's smart. She knows her shit. You'll never catch her slipping, like, you'll catch her slipping in her personal life, but you'll never catch her slipping, like, out and about, in a class, in a job. She's put together, she's fitted. Okay, face card has never declined a day in her fucking life.
Yeah, she's really hot.
When you first look at her, I think that you get, she has her life together. She knows what she's doing. She's smart. She's confident. And she is beautiful. And honestly, that's me. I'm not kidding, actually.
Yeah,
wow,
no, I was gonna say, don't kid. You're not kidding.
Don't play. No, I really do feel that way. Like, I feel like part of it might be my stature. I'm really tall, and like I feel like people always let me know that they're like, oh, you come off really elegant, or like I think I'm well spoken. I like the way that I'm able to communicate my thoughts, and I feel like I'm able to do so, like, depending on what person I'm talking to, I can like cater like what I'm trying to say in a way that I know that they'll understand it. Like, I feel like whatever that speech background, come on, national champion. Right. That's a lie. I was a state champion. Got in my head a little. but the state of California is huge, baby.
Right.
I just feel like I've always prided myself on being an overachiever academically. All of that, like, gifted kid shit, that honestly is such a scam as an adult. But, we'll get into that in another podcast episode, child. But I think that I do come off very confident. I come off like I have my shit together and I'm beautiful, and I love that for me.
Absolutely.
I'm happy I'm not actually Michaela Pratt, though, I will say.
Yeah.
But I think that by the end, like, she is so much more in tune with who she is, and I think that I really like her.
Her emotional depth also,
for
like,
sure,
she
for sure.
became more vulnerable as
Yes, absolutely.
it started to rush to the end. I was
Absolutely.
like, good for her.
Absolutely. I think she had to really learn that her shit don't stink. I think that she, like, came from a place where she, like, was hyper aware that her shit did stink. Or that people made her think that her shit stunk when it smelled like cherries. And then she overcorrected. And then she had to learn. She almost lost Asher. He said, look, I'm mid and white, but I'm going to leave you. And she said, damn, I really loved you.
Right.
I think that humbled her.
I'm mid and white.
I think that humbled her. I love her. But yeah, I think that she has to be my rising for sure.
That was... I agree with it. Like,
Thank you.
You tried to say, I'm kidding, but I said,
yeah.
no.
Thank you.
No, that's true. I see that. And I think, like, sometimes people say, oh, tall people, and they're intimidating, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I also, like, as you continue to explain, I was like, yeah, I also think it definitely has to do with your energy, too. Your energy, the way you communicate, like, the way you use your voice. I'm like, for real, you could be 2 feet tall and still give that.
That's hilarious. Not 2 feet tall.
Yeah, I think that's something my mom used to say, like, you could be 2 feet tall, and, like, with the commanding presence that you have, it's still, like, it's enough. Like,
I like that.
Yeah, me too, to think about. I'm like, because that's also something that I feel like one should have.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
You should be able to stand alone on your presence as well. And
I completely agree.
The height thing is just like an additional flex.
It is. It is. I love her, but I think, I love letting my inner Oliver shine.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love what you chose.
Thank you.
That's so beautiful. I hope my teacher, Beza, watches this, because he was, of course, Simon?
Simon?
Hold on, that's the asshole, right?
Yes.
Yes, he was Simon.
Simon, how are you?
Yeah, he's a very smiley man, which surprised me. I was just like, okay, you be acting because, I never saw you smile on that show.
I hated you, no.
Right.
See, and that's where I can't stand with Michaela.
Yeah.
We're not even going to get into that. She was insane and heinous and disgusting for that move.
Yeah.
She didn't have to do all that.
Listen.
Did it to prove a point.
Right. I'm sitting here like, we should start our own podcast. We could talk forever.
Oh my God. I could talk so much about how to go to murder. Don't even.
We should do a podcast based off a show.
Please.
Please. Okay. Thank you, Katrina. I'm sitting here like, this episode's going to be... Like, literally, I can't bear to end it. Like,
I really don't want it to end. I'm getting really sad.
I literally said it's going to be the friendship one because I love talking to Katrina. But I've been having so much fun with this.
Me too.
And I just want to thank you for just being such a great guest.
Oh, my God.
This was a hoot.
It was a hoot and a half. And
right, hoot and a half.
A hoot and a half. And honestly, I feel just really grateful that you saw me for this. And
immediately.
I mean, I wasn't surprised because, like, I feel this same, like, I was affirming relationship. But I felt very much like, yeah. But then I was also like, oh.
Right, you knew it was up.
Yeah, I didn't know it was up.
But it's always touching.
But nonetheless, I'm very appreciative of, like, being able to be on this episode and, like, talk to you specifically about friendship and our friendship.
Yeah, and I'm really glad we got to do it too.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Boo.
I know.
No
but
tomatoes.
Right. Thank you to our listeners and our viewers for watching. This has been 232425. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, join us next week. It's always going to be a fun time. Why wouldn't you be there?
Literally listen to Josca as much as you can.
As much as you can. I'm not going to argue with that.
Come on.
It's literally my goal.
Literally.
Okay.
If you don't listen to me.
Right. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'm literally like, thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
232425 is a podcast produced and hosted by Josca. Graphic design by Josca. Executive producer, director of photography, and editor, Dante Charles Critchlow. Music by Fadal Moore. A special thanks to Anthony and Celentia Moore, Constance Moore, and Harold Hickson for their contributions to production. And a special thanks to viewers like you who create the community of my wildest dreams. Thank you.
23, 24, 25 TV.